Today, the Smithsonian's oldest building is opening its doors to visitors, but only for a short time. The Smithsonian Institution building, also known as the Castle, is reopening briefly after years of renovation. NBC's Ryan Nobles has an exclusive look inside the castle.
Hey, Erica, of course, you know the Smithsonian Institution as a massive global research organization with 21 museums, 14 research centers, and of course the National Zoo. But it all started right here 171 years ago with the building of the Smithsonian Castle. This first Smithsonian building was funded by a British scientist who never stepped foot on American soil. And we got an exclusive look inside the massive renovation to return the building to its original glory, and a sneak peek at a new exhibit filled with American treasures in honor of the 250th anniversary of the nation. In a city famous for its whitewashed marble and granite landmarks, one red building stands apart: the Smithsonian Castle. Built in 1855 as the very first Smithsonian building in the United States, this morning, the ground floor reopening to visitors for the first time after 3 years of renovations.
Mr. Secretary.
Welcome to the Smithsonian.
Smithsonian Secretary Lonnie Bunch says America owes British scientist James Smithson a debt of gratitude for making the world's largest museum, education, and research complex possible.
He'd heard about this great republic that was going to be a beacon, a city on the hill. And he gave what in essence would be $15 million today. So it really is this global institution now that began with some person's dream of what America could be.
Do you think most Americans realize that James Smithson never stepped foot in the United States of America?
He never stepped foot alive. We have a body.
I guess that counts.
You know?
Keeping that dream alive requires a massive restoration effort. Building's iconic red sandstone getting some much-needed repairs.
There was a church in Atlantic City that was using this kind of material, and the church was closing. So we were actually able to go to the church, get much of that stone, and use that to basically refurbish and replace the original sandstone.
We moved inside and up to a space that once held the largest lecture hall in the country.
People like Abraham Lincoln would come just to hear talks.
Wow.
Buildings finished in 1855, and then 10 years later, it's devastated by a fire.
Evidence of that fire still visible on the walls of the lecture hall.
This tar is really remnants of the new roof, the temporary roof that was put in there by the U.S. Army.
And in the nearby Regents Room.
Pretty remarkable that this is still relatively intact despite everything it went through.
I think that what is really powerful is that fire destroys, but not everything. And part of what history is to bring back what has been destroyed. And this allows us to remember that moment in powerful ways.
Yeah.
Renovation teams also planning to restore the Great Hall to its original breathtaking height.
This isn't, it's not supposed to look like this, where I only see a little bit of this column, right?
Yeah. You're supposed to be down looking up.
Yeah.
Once we remove the floor, we'll return to that sense of, oh my goodness, how special this is.
Yeah.
In a few weeks, the castle will host American Aspirations, an exhibit curated by Bunch himself for America 250.
Right here will be the desk that Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Okay. For me, those words are a challenge to help America live up to its ideals.
Right.
Among the treasures that will be on display, a rare small-scale model of the Statue of Liberty, a treaty between the United States and the Iroquois Nation signed by George Washington, and a famous broadside written by abolitionist Frederick Douglass, urging black men to fight in the Civil War.
How important do you think it'll be for Americans to remember everything, not just celebrate where we are now, but what it took to get us to this point?
What I want is people to be able to think about how history is as much about today and tomorrow as it is yesterday, and that the 250th is an opportunity to remember, to reflect, and to come together as a nation.
Now, when the exhibit is complete, you'll get to see a fragment of the Plymouth Rock, the original Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech, and also Amelia Earhart's flight suit. Now, you can already get in the bottom floor of the Smithsonian. That is open now. You can get in the castle now, but the exhibit won't open until June 2nd. But don't waste any time, because the castle is going to shut back down again completely in September so they can complete that massive renovation, which will still take another couple of years. Erica, back to you.